It seems like a distant memory now, but it was only February 19th of 2020 where the stock market had hit all-time highs. Since then, 9 of its 11 biggest day point declines have happened over the past 4 weeks, and the S&P 500 has been down over 32% in that time. With all this market uncertainty, we've seen a lot of mixed opinions on what to do with the stock market. Is it going up? Is it going to continue to decline? What should we do at this point? There's a lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers, but I think in times like this, it's a great opportunity to look at some all-star investors, some billionaires who have been successful in the stock market before, and take a look at what exactly they're doing and what they're investing in. So today we're going to look at 3 billionaires and what they've invested in over the past month. So let's get right into it. So I just want to say that all this information is public. When billionaires do make investments, a lot of that becomes public knowledge because of the size of the investment. They do have to disclose what companies that they're investing in because they have an overall percentage market share in the company, so that information gets released. I don't actually have these people's numbers or have any kind of contact with these 3 people, though I wish I did. This information is all public and available just with a quick Google search. So the first billionaire I want to look at is Carl Icahn. Carl Icahn, if you don't know, has a net worth of about $12.4 billion according to Wikipedia. Sorry, $12.8 million according to Wikipedia. He is an 84-year-old businessman and investor. He's done quite well with himself, obviously. He owns a company called Icahn Capital, and what they've been doing is buying shares in a rental car giant called Hertz, and they sell on the New York Stock Exchange under the code HTZ. Between March 10th and March 12th, Icahn purchased more than 11.4 million shares in the company. During that time, those 11.4 million shares were bought at an average price of $7.43. So we'll do the math here on just how much that actually is in terms of an investment. It's quite large. Carl's company, Icahn Capital, has been purchasing a lot of Hertz shares over the past 6 years, actually, and he now holds a 39% stake in the company, so he is quite invested in this company. So as of this video on Thursday's close, Hertz was selling at a share price of $7.24. So it has gone down a little bit since he made those purchases back in early March. It did see a low point, and that came on Wednesday, March 18th. It fell as low as $3.38 per share, and has since spiked back up to $7. So we'll see what happens in the next little bit, but he is currently down on those 11 million shares. So the other stock that Carl purchased was Newell Brands. Newell sells on the NASDAQ as NWL. He purchased shares between March 9th and March 11th at an average price of $13.41 per share. What Newell is a consumer goods company, and it is currently selling as of today's close at $14.11. On Thursday, it actually surged up 10.58%, so quite a bit of a jump. Its lowest point so far hit $10.55, but now, like I say, is selling at $14.11 and currently has a dividend yield of 6.52%. So that is quite enticing if you agree with Carl's investment stake in the company. Now, the next billionaire I want to talk about is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is famously known as being the owner of the Dallas Mavericks and being on Shark Tank. His current net worth is $4.3 billion. And there's 2 stocks that he has invested in the last little bit have been Live Nation and Twitter. So let's take a look at those. So I couldn't find exactly how much or how many shares Mark Cuban decided to invest in these stocks, but he did say he's going to invest up to 1.5% of his available cash into stocks every day the markets go lower. And being a billionaire of over $4 billion, I'm assuming 1.5 cash is quite a bit. So the first stock is Live Nation. Live Nation produces, promotes, and provides tickets for live shows. Obviously, with the coronavirus and there being restrictions on the amount of people who can congregate in one place at one time, limits the amount of revenue that Live Nation can generate this year. But last year, revenue grew 7%, up to $11 billion. So it is quite a big company. Assume that after the coronavirus settles and people are allowed to congregate again, that we should see these profits continue on that trajectory. So at the beginning of February, Live Nation was selling at around $60 a stock. It's now currently selling at $45.94. And Mark obviously believes that this stock is going to get back to that $60 per share, if not higher, in these next couple years. He said in an interview that he's thinking in 2 years from now, this whole Corona thing will be behind us and Live Nation will be thriving. And the next stock that Mark is investing in is Twitter. Twitter was selling at around $35 a share in the end of February and is now currently selling at prices around $26. It finished the day on Thursday at $26.41. So the idea is, with this whole coronavirus and being self-isolated, that we'll see a member bump with the use of Twitter, being able to connect virtually and through tweets instead of being in person. So Cuban is buying in on this idea. However, the risk obviously is with this kind of imminent recession happening, that companies will hold back on some digital advertising, and that's where Twitter makes a lot of their revenue. So we'll see what happens, but in the long run, I certainly think that this is one that I could get behind as well. All right, before we get into the last investor, if you are getting value out of this video, I'd ask that you give it a thumbs up right now, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to be making tax and investment videos on a regular basis, so if that's something that interests you, I'd ask that you'd please stick along for this journey, and thanks for watching. The last billionaire I want to talk about is arguably the most famous investor in America, and that is the great Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has a net worth of $67.7 billion and is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, also dubbed the Oracle of Omaha. He purchased 976,000 shares of Delta Airlines for an average cost of $46.40 a share. The investment costed him, if you do the math, $45.3 million. Now, this is definitely a riskier investment in the short term, as obviously with COVID-19 spreading, international travel is really at a low point. A lot of people are avoiding travel at all costs. So the stock really took a hit and fell even lower from that $46 share price. It's now currently selling at $31.70. On March 20th, it hit a low of $21.35. So it did drop over 50% from the time that Warren Buffett purchased that investment. So you can imagine those unrealized losses sitting in his account. But over the long term, Warren obviously thinks the Delta Airlines and the airline industry as a whole will pick up. Delta also currently has a dividend yield of over 5% now, so that is quite attractive if that's something that you're looking to get into as well. All right, so those were the 3 billionaires that have made public what they've been investing in during the stock market crash. I think if these billionaires are investing in these stocks, that these are ones that you should also strongly consider as well. So that's all for today's video. I'm Nix from Nix Taxes, and you have yourself a good one. Wash your hands and stay safe. Take care.